Hey guys, today, we're going to do a tier list on all the Genshin TGC cards today. Before we start, do you know that less than 1% of y'all who watched are subscribed? I ain't even making that up, so if you want, subscribe for me. And I'm almost at 1.5k subscribers, so you might be the lucky one and be the 1.5k one. Now, let's get started with the video. First, we're gonna rate Barbara. Barbara currently doesn't have anything that makes her stand out. If you want a decent healer, you can use her. So therefore, I'm going to put her as AB tier. I'd rather just use Xingqiu. Next, we're gonna rate Ayaka. Ayaka is very good if you need a cryo DPS. You can use her passive for cryo conversion, then if you paired her up with Oceanid for example, you could make a good freeze team out of her, so therefore, I'm gonna put her as S tier. Now, we're on Bennett. Bennett is very good for TGC right now. His burst gives a good buff to your Timotesh, and you have decent pyro application with him with his skill. Not only that, but his burst heals also. So overall, Bennett is going as an S tier. Chongyun, the thing with him is that you just have better alternatives for him. The only kind of useful thing is his skill for his cryo conversion. You're better off just using Ayaka though, so he's not bad. But he ain't good either, so overall he's just going as AC tier. Now Kali-ai. Kali-ai is very good in quicken teams with an Electro DPS. She may be the only Dendro, but she is still crucial in Electro teams, so overall, I'm gonna go a tier for her. And Sino I didn't play yet, so IMA just put him as B tier. And for Dil Luke, he's in my opinion, one of the best pyro DPS we have right now. His burst, if you have almost any reaction, you can one-shot the enemy, so right now, I'm going to place him as a tier. For Diana, she's a very good shielder, and if you use her burst you got good cryo application and healing, so overall, I'm going to put her as a tier. And for the pyro agent, I'm going to put him as B tier because he can tank a little bit, but his burst isn't really worth it for the energy required. For Fisk Cole, she is for sure gonna be going as an S tier. She is very good for quicken teams especially when paired with Kali-ai, and good for electro application. For this Dendro chicken thingy, he's not playable yet, so I'm going to just put him as B tier. For Jean, I didn't really play her yet, but when I went against her, she was always an easy kill, but she is good for swirl, and her burst heals a decent amount, so I'm going to put her as a tier. Kia is interesting. If you get a Vaporize on his skill, he can do decent damage, but you're better off using Ayaka, so therefore, I'm going to put him as C tier. Keqing, it's obvious where she is going to go. She has good electro application, and her burst is overpowered, and she's even better with quicken teams, so she's going as S tier. Mirror Maiden, when I went against her, she was the easiest battle I ever had. Her skills and stuff doesn't have anything really rewarding, so she's going as D tier. Now Mona, she's a decent character. Her skill can shield you, her burst gives a buff, and she has decent hydro application. For DPS, she ain't it, but everything else she is decent at, so therefore, she is going as B. Now Ningguang, I didn't play her yet, but she is a very good shielder. Especially with her normal attacks being Geo. And her burst can do decent damage with her skill active, so therefore, she is going as a tier. Now for Noelle, she is a super good shielder, her skill being able to take 2 damage, and if you get her burst up, she is a very good DPS with some healing. So it's obvious that she's going as S tier. And considering I see no one play Razor in TGC, and in regular Genshin, I'm just gonna put him as C tier. Now for Oceanid. So many people use him right now, I'm pretty sure he is the best hydro application right now, and his burst also does a lot of damage depending on how many summons you have. So for that, he's going S tier. Now for Ganyu. She has very good piercing damage, and her skill shields you a little bit, and her burst is a good amount of cryo application. So I think for her, I'm gonna go a tier for her. And now for Sucrose, she is like the most underrated character in the game. I use her all the time, and her skill is so powerful because you can keep forcing the enemy so switch their character, which can mess them up. So for me, she's going S tier. For Xiangling, me personally, I think she could be a little bit better, like some more damage. So therefore, I'm just gonna put her as B tier. And now for Xingqiu, he is for sure going as an S tier. His burst has good damage, and good hydro application. Pair him with Yuamiya, and you will always win. Speaking of Yuamiya, she's also going as S tier. If she is at the right conditions, her normal attack can one-shot any character, she is one of the best characters in the game. And that's it for the tier list. Tell me your personal rankings in the comments, and like and subscribe if you want, and I also might post another video today, so stay tuned for that. So I guess that's it, see y'all.